up, everybody? It's Joe Miller from the Dirty Burfield. This is vlog episode 2. For those of you that don't know, this particular vlog is just dedicated to the trip that we're going on, which is going to be a 30-day camping trip with a family of 5, 3 kids, under 10 years of age, and we're going to go from Vancouver Island all the way down south to the southern United States, Southern California, a little bit Arizona, and all up in through Utah and back home. We have some really cool places that we're headed to. And this last week I successfully did an off-road video, which I'm excited about. And then tomorrow I'm planning on going out as well. It doesn't snow very often here, and the snow gets really sucky and slushy. So we'll see what that looks like tomorrow. But this vlog is all about the trip we're going on. Now, the last trip I went on, when I went down to King of the Hammers in my rock crawler, I didn't think about it too hard. The problem with this one is that when you actually start doing the planning on it, you start second guessing your ideas, because it's pretty ridiculous to go down in a car, essentially, with a family of 5 for 30 days camping. We're still going to do it, but I can sense the hesitation in my partner. And I'm realizing that you actually have to plan this. So there are a few things that I've come across. One, The Dirt is a fantastic app that I came across, the DYRT. And that's been super helpful, because what we can do is pick all the places that we want to visit, and then you can go to that area on the map. I think just in the Pro Tools, but it's not that expensive. And then you can search for campgrounds in the area, and you can set like your budget, and if it's BLM, like if it's free or under 20 bucks, you can set these parameters, and then you can search the area you want to go to, and then you can see other people's reviews on those campgrounds, which has been super helpful for us to pick all the spots we want to go to, and then find the campgrounds that we're going to go along the way, because some of these places we're going to have to book in advance, because the time of year that we're going are hot times of year for some of these places, like Jumbo Rocks, Joshua Tree National Park. We want to hit that up, and apparently that books out real fast. So it is requiring some planning and some pre-purchasing and booking of these campsites, which is where that app becomes super helpful. You can read the reviews on different campgrounds, pick them, and then it gives you the contact info. We haven't picked up the phone yet, but we will soon, once we finalize kind of our layout of where we want to get to. So, The Dirt, super, super cool. The other challenge that we've come across is how to feed a family of 5. Because as I start looking at these off-road 12-volt fridges, first of all, the ratings, like the storage capacities, are all in like liters or quarts, which doesn't really mean anything to you from a residential perspective. So I started looking at them, and I was like, okay, we need like the biggest one we can get. And then those get really expensive real quick. So that I think I had posted about the new Smitty built one. It's got a built-in battery, and I think it's 95 liters or quarts, something like that. Which is not a lot of space. So when I actually saw how little space that is, that became a problem, especially for how much money you're paying. And then that led me down the rabbit hole of like, why doesn't anyone use just like a bar fridge? And then I read that people in RVs and trailers are actually converting from their super expensive, Domestics that are propane and electricity to standard residential fridges. And then I thought, oh, well, maybe it's because they don't work off-road. But then I thought, you know what? 99.9% of people that are overlanding are going to be going somewhere where my car can go. There are exceptions, but I would say most people that have a 12-volt fridge, they're getting it, and they are camping and going to places that are not like the Rubicon or some crazy trail in Moab or like some epic adventure in their $70,000 vehicle. There are those people. Those people are wild to me that have that kind of money to wheel the crap out of that kind of money in a vehicle. But it made me look into it further because I think this is going to work. I don't see any reason why, and I've seen it on YouTube, so it must be true. People running off-grid residential fridges off a battery, no problem. Okay, so I started looking and I ended up purchasing a $150 bar fridge and freezer, which is 3.1 cubic feet. And so I did the conversion on that, and it ends up being like, oh, sorry, the biggest DC fridge was like 85 liters or something like that. And so this bar fridge was 3.1 cubic feet, about 1 cubic feet for a freezer separated from the fridge, and then the other 2 cubic feet for the fridge part. If you do the conversion on that, that ends up being like 95 liters or 95 quarts. So for $150, I have the biggest off-road fridge. It's not 12 volt, but I have the biggest off-road fridge, which leaves me a lot more money for other things like, say, a lithium iron phosphate battery. So I just was looking at the conversions. What's also tricky is because I called around and I asked a few people, like, what is the deal with these fridges? Like, why are people buying these off-road fridges, especially if you're not like doing hardcore off-road stuff, or if you're not leaving it out in the elements in the back of your pickup truck? So I get that, but even then, why is it that people don't use it? And some of the comments were, oh, it's efficiency, like it's super energy efficient. But with residential fridges, they are super efficient. So the problem is that residential fridges are all rated in kilowatt hours per year, like your appliances are kilowatt hours per year. And so this one that I got is rated at 271, 277, something like that, kilowatt hours per year. So you find out how many hours are in a year, you divide that by your kilowatt hours, convert it to watts, and it ends up being like 31 watts. That's like nothing. That's nothing. So this bar fridge theoretically will run off of 31 watts with a 100 amp hour battery, LifePo 4 battery. Not a problem. I think this is what I am gonna attempt. Okay, so I got the fridge, saved a boatload of money there, assuming it works. Granted, I still need to buy my inverter and I still need to buy a battery. And so the battery conversation, that's opened up a whole can of worms, because I reached out to some people locally and I see like Battleborn, Dakota Lithium, Renogy, SOK, like all these lithium batteries, which are super cool but really expensive. I saw a teardown of a Battleborn, which looks legit. But this is my thinking. I could spend $700 or $800 on a fancy, super high quality battery, lithium iron phosphate battery. Or I could go with some of the knockoffs or copycats that I've been looking at on YouTube, which have also been torn down, that don't have like super beefy components, but seem to be pretty reliable and have a lot of reviews and are still grade A cells with BMS, decent BMS now, and that can be like $500. So my thinking is, I'm just watching, like going back and looking at the prices of what lithium batteries are. They're plummeting in cost as people figure out BMS, and like as it become more mainstream, they are plummeting in price. So battery technology is actually moving forward, and this is what I think. I'm not going to spend $1,000 in battery for something that's going to be half the price in like a couple years from now. So if I see something that's like, oh, it's got like a 3 or 4 year warranty versus a 10-year warranty. If I have to warranty my batteries in 10 years, I suspect that the battery technology is going to be far, far, far past where we are now. So I'm kind of looking at this as, hey, if I can get a lithium battery for $400 to $500, it would be cool to have the Bluetooth interface. That is fine for me. I only need it to last like I need it to last this trip, really, because the money that I saved in the fridge, in the bar fridge, which also is dual use, which can be used in my garage and future shop. The money that I saved on that can go towards battery inverter and cables to get all set up. So that's what I'm thinking. That's where I'm at in terms of planning this trip. We have our basic routes figured out, all the campgrounds picked. I have a fridge purchased. I also have right here one of the cheap Chinese diesel heaters, and I've been watching lots of videos on that, because a couple of the places we want to go are going to be really freaking cold. We can always skip them, but we want to go see Sequoia National Park and Yosemite National Park and Yellowstone on the way back up. So those are all snowy and like the off seasons, but from everything we've read, or that I've read, it looks like it's actually super cool to go visit those places in the off season. Just had to flip a U. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's my rambling. Man, I still think it's so amazing the times that we live in, where I know nothing about DC power, solar, batteries, and there's just so much on the internet to learn by legit people, like electrical engineers that have taken the time to pull apart batteries, do reviews, give their opinions, and show people how to build systems and how to do things on a budget. I'm always at awe with that kind of stuff, and that's why I share some of my how-to videos. That's why I do some of my reviews. Even if it helps one person, gives them an idea, or inspires them to do something, that's totally worth it, because I enjoy doing these videos anyways, whether one person looks at them or 4 or 5. If it helps one person, awesome. All right, that's enough of me rambling. Have a great day. I wish you the most epic adventures. Bye.